you've got to believe in it. It's like with anything, you know, if you don't believe that viewing it as a gift is going to help you, it won't help you. It's as simple as that. If whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Yeah, and to be fair, I just think that society is set up for people to be that way unless you are intentional to be a different way. I mean, that's just, you know, we're very we're taught to be consumers and very, you know, not saying everyone's superficial, but like that we value superficial things and not the important things, I think, you know. So getting your thoughts down on paper can be helpful. Mindful techniques if we're stressed, because if we're stressed, we don't handle challenges as well as we could do. And we're more likely to go, why is this happening to me if we're stressed, than say, this is happening for me. What am I going to learn from this? So every time it feels too hard, your breakthrough is often one mindset shift away. So sometimes when we're overwhelmed by a challenge, we can do things to support our mindset, change our mindset to enable us to overcome that. Now, reframing is a great tool, and that's what we've been talking about. But sometimes just going, what am I learning from this, is not quite enough. It works really well when you're used to it, but at the beginning, it might feel like this, you know, you've got to believe in it. It's like with anything, you know, if you don't believe that viewing it as a gift is going to help you, it won't help you. It's as simple as that. If whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Yeah. So what can we do? We can reframe. We've talked about that, about the whole idea of what a challenge is, and that's something that I would recommend everyone do. It's just like constructive criticism. If you can reframe that to feedback, that's also very powerful for how you will navigate the world, because if it feels like you're getting something out of it rather than something getting in your way, you will feel differently about it, and you will be more able to problem solve and successfully overcome the challenge. What other ways can we use to support us with mindset shifts that can help us to overcome challenges or prevent spirals from happening? What would you suggest?
Well, one thing I use myself, first of all, I read The Law of Attraction, The Secret, and that really transformed my life. To figure out the truth behind how powerful our mind is, knowing that I can create my reality with my thoughts. Now, obviously, at the start, to me, it was far-fetched. It's like you can't, like, my life is miserable, it's going to always be miserable energy. But I started to retrain my brain. I read The Secret like a Bible, and I started to use that in my everyday life. But what I did to change myself, I was so pessimistic, I was so negative. Literally replace every negative thought with 3 positive ones. Do that every time for 30 days, and it will actually work. You retrain your brain. We've been brainwashed into being negative. Now we have to wash that out and brainwash ourselves into positivity. And what I kind of said to a friend the other day is you know, sometimes we might think we have to be positives. So think of one. Think of one as an anchor. What is one thing that fills you with joy? What is one thing that lights you up? And then every time you get a negative thought, bring yourself back into the moment of that positive thought. And even use the same one over and over again, because that repetition will actually anchor you back in that moment. So kind of use that every single time. Every time a negative thought comes in, think of something amazing in your life to make you convince yourself that there is good in the world and that everything isn't negative.
Yeah. And like we said before, the easiest way is to catch the first thought.
Oh, yes.
Before you spiral. Yeah.
The analogy I said before, it's like that tennis ball or baseball machine, you know, when it flicks out all those balls, and you obviously hit the ball out every time it comes. But if you miss one, they're going to start hitting you in the face. So like it's the same with the thought. If a negative thought comes and you don't grab it, the rest are going to come and they're just going to keep coming. So you have to catch that first thought in the moment and get rid of it. Replace it with a positive one. Or the simple thing of asking yourself, is this fear real, or is it based on a past experience, or am I creating this out of nowhere? It's as simple as that, because most of the time our fears are based on things that won't ever happen and are based on something that may have happened in the past.
Yeah, 100%. And to go along with that, gratitude. So our brain, particularly if you are someone who has tended to get into negative spirals, maybe have some negative beliefs. Now, I know sometimes I think that when I was deep in my depression, I definitely had negative beliefs, like about myself, beliefs that certainly didn't serve me. But I projected most of them on other people and their view of me. And so sometimes we can be aware that we think something. I'm not good at this. Like, I'm not good at football is my belief. I've got quite a bit of evidence to back that one up, to be fair. But sometimes our beliefs are not in our awareness. And so they come out in different ways. So one of the ways that our belief comes out is how we mind read other people. So if we get a situation where maybe we missed a deadline, or maybe we were observed and we're waiting for our feedback, and we're thinking, well, they think this was no good, and they think that was no good, and we're analyzing people's facial expressions when actually it's a not feeling worthy yourself, that you're projecting that onto people. And that's not to say that people might think you could have done better at something, but that we often catastrophize those things. And when you've been in that mindset for a long time, you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be intentional about rewiring that, very intentional. So a really great thing to do is to begin a gratitude diary. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous. It sounded ridiculous to me when Women's Aid suggested it to me, but I'm sure you can appreciate that if Women's Aid was involved in my life, things were pretty bad. And I only did it because I was desperate. I was desperate to feel a different way. I did think, do these people not know what's going on in my life? Like, writing a list of 5 things I'm grateful for is like, that's going to change anything, but it did. So it rewires our brain to spot the positive. So you can do journaling. I mean, you can do it in just thinking in the morning. That's something that you do, isn't it, Angela? But if it's something that... Go on.
I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do is just say thank you for my girls, my pets, like my home, my food and press, even my car, my health, my career, all of it. Like, it is really, like, going back to that, when you're in the spiral, or when you're in a moment of hardship, or when it feels like this challenge is going on in your life, the last thing you want, as you just said, is, or feel, you should feel like there's nothing to be grateful for. And I felt that at one stage, again, after another toxic relationship ended, I spiraled. I was like, the whole world is ending, I have nothing, I have nothing. But then when I was reading the law of attraction time, and I reframed it, and I was like, I started to write this list, and I was like, I won't let you write things that I'm grateful for. But writing out the list gets longer and longer. The simple things are the things we should be grateful for. That's what makes us rich. And when we can reframe our whole life and say, okay, nothing is actually that bad, because I have so much in my life that makes me rich right now. My pets, the love in my life, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Great support network, great community, whatever it is, the house, the roof over your head, the food and the press. Writing them over and over again makes you realize, there is so much more abundance in your life than you think there is. And that will actually attract in more to be grateful for.
Yeah, actually, so my mum was really quite ill 2 or 3 weeks ago. And there was a point where we didn't know if we were going to lose her, to be honest. It was very touch and go for quite some time, for several days that felt like years. And it was the beginning of the school term. I went back to work, and I'm normally, morning, walking in like this. That's just because that's how I feel, not any other reason. But it's really nice because, smiles are catching, aren't they? So I like to think that I bring a bit of sunshine in to everybody else this morning. Maybe they find me a bit annoying, but that's okay. I don't mind. Some people. But obviously I had a lot going on. So that I wasn't my normal cheery self. And every morning I walk through and there's the kitchen, and they make bagels for all the children in the morning, and I would normally collect a bagel. And this wonderful lady from the kitchen, who I usually say hello to in the morning, spotted that I wasn't myself, and she was like, "Oh, miss, you're not yourself." And I said, "Oh, my mum's really not well, so I'm just a bit worried, a bit wired because I haven't slept very well." And she got me a fresh, usually I have cold ones off the side, but she got me a fresh warm bagel, and she goes, "There you go, miss." She's like, "The problem is, you're here looking after everybody else's well-being, but nobody thought what would happen when someone has to look after yours, Or I think she didn't say well-being, she said happiness or something like that, which was really sweet. And every day that week, she greeted me with a smile and a warm bagel. She said, "Especially for you." And she was like my little bagel angel and it's the small things. Like, it was making me cry actually a little bit thinking about it. That it was a little crutch in the morning that I needed, And so that was one thing that that I could be grateful for when I was finding it tricky at that time, And that just goes to show that it is those little things that are the big things, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So gratitude is a great thing. If you don't normally do gratitude, I'm not saying you're ungrateful, but you don't have a gratitude practice, then it's good to just get a little notebook, put it by the side of your bed, either at the end before going to sleep or just waking up if you've got time, just to write 5 things that you're grateful for. Or I found it really hard when I was really in a dark place at the beginning of using gratitude. This was, that was pregnant with Ellie at the time, and he's nearly 12 now, so it was a long time ago. But so I just started off with one. I was like, if I can just write one thing, and tomorrow I'll write 2. And I remember, and this is the truth, this is actually what you subconsciously do, but I had to be very intentional, because it got to the end of the day and I was like, "Oh, I've got to write 2 things. Like, I can't think of 2 things." And so on the 3rd day, I said to myself, I'm going to have to look for something, because there's no way I'm going to get to the end of the day and be able to think of 3 things that I truly feel grateful for. And so then I was consciously looking for it. But even if you're not consciously looking for it, when you're writing regular gratitude diary, you subconsciously look for it. It's changing that filter from everything's going wrong to, "Oh, I'm so grateful for that, and that was such a blessing, and I'm so lucky that person's in my life, and oh, I really enjoyed that chat at lunchtime," or that person really made me smile. They gave me a lovely warm bagel. They brightened up my morning. So and you can look in different areas. So if you're finding it difficult, looking in multiple areas can help. I mean, I would say look in multiple areas anyway. So you could look at your basic needs being met, because I mean, we're very fortunate that there's lots of people in the world that don't have the basic needs met. So we can be grateful for those things. The love that we have in our life from pets and people. We can be grateful for things that are good in our work lives, in our home lives, our personal lives, but also being grateful for ourselves is a really important one, particularly if you get into negative thought patterns and spirals, because it might be there's a deep belief in there that you're not good enough. So recognizing that you have qualities that other people would look on with envy, and guaranteed you will have. Everybody has a different skill set that makes them unique, and things that they do effortlessly that other people just think, "Wow, I wish I could just be like that. I wish I could walk into a room like that," or "I wish I could tell a joke like that," or "I wish I could connect so quickly with the kids like that," or "stay calm in a stressful situation." All you know, all kinds of things that you might be good at, playing a guitar, or so finding something that you can be grateful about yourself as well as things that are in your life is very powerful. It sounds silly, but it really, really works. And there's lots of science behind it, isn't there, Angela?
Yeah, definitely. Like the law of attraction is a scientific law. What we think we attract. So change your mind and you change your life. You really do.
Now, I thought this is a good one because I know you've talked about this. It says, slow it down. So say you're seeing, oh, this is wrong, you catch yourself doing it. So slow it down. You might have a challenge. When it feels like everything is going wrong, pause before reacting, zoom out and ask, how will this look 6 months from now? Now, what's your version of that? You say,
what I do, especially when, like, you know, when I used to get so angry at things. Like I'd be working, like the computer wouldn't work, and I could feel my blood boiling. I'd get really stressed out over simple little things. It's not the end of the world. So one thing I learned was, is it going to affect me in 5 years, or is it going to kill me? And like either of those are like, no. If it hasn't got that extreme, then why are we worried about it? Because we have this habit of stressing over things that don't fucking matter. They really don't. They're just insignificant. They're just so unimportant. And like it's like our blood is boiling, we're stressing ourselves out, we're giving ourselves heart palpitations because the computer computers don't work sometimes. That's like, you know, it's a simple thing. Like we're getting stressed over certain things like that, like a computer being slow, or you know, you might have dropped something and you're angry at yourself. It's like, is it going to affect you in 5 years' time, or is it going to kill you in this moment? If you can say no to both of those questions, then let it go. Just let it go.
Absolutely. Actually, I've told this story before, but my dad, he'd gone to a cafe with my mum, and he said, "Oh, I had a lovely meal with your mum, but we got a complimentary parking cake with the coffee, and you should have seen the size of it. It was only the size of an OXO cube." And it's like, right, you're moaning about
like this is the thing, and Irish people are like that as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I said this to you before. Like, you know, we really run good weather, great weather. It was Sunday, it was beautiful. Speaking about the weather with someone, and they said, "Oh, but it's going to rain on Thursday." 4 days later, it's going to rain. And it's just like, live in the moment, man. Like, for fuck's sake, like we're like, think of that, like, you know, the positive in the situation, not the negative. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It still gets me. It's like we're just the creatures of pessimism. It's like everyone's cup is half empty, and it's like you're there, your cup is overflowing, the sun is shining, the weather is sweet, and they're like, yeah, but it's like, no, but
yeah. And to be fair, I just think that society is set up for people to be that way unless you are intentional to be a different way. I mean, that's just, you know, we're taught to be consumers and very, you know, not saying everyone's superficial, but like that we value superficial things and not the important things, I think, you know. And yeah, and it can get us like comparison all the time. I think social media makes us compare ourselves to others. Doesn't make us, you know, but it encourages us to, or, you know, so, you know, I'm not saying it's people's fault that they might be that way, but we don't have to be that way. We can be positive and we can be happy. So that reframe, shifting to empowerment language. So instead of why is this happening to me? What if this is happening for me? Or things like I can't to I can, you know.
I will. Yes. Because when you say you can't, you're effectively saying you won't. It's not that you can't, because everyone can. So if you say you can't, you're actually saying to yourself that you won't. You're refusing to do it. So yes, you can.
Yeah. And celebrating wins, because sometimes we can get so focused on things that we may not have done as well as we would have hoped, and not recognize all the wonderful things that we have, you know, managed and conquered and smashed, not literally, in a good way. Yeah. So And I think we can, on a growth journey, this can happen. We can just get so used to it, and on to the next thing, and on to the next thing, and on to the
Yeah,
next thing.
I used to be terrible for that. I still am a little bit, and I kind of have to remind myself I need to take a pause and I need to congratulate myself for everything I've done. Like, I've been doing courses back to back flat out since February. I finished my last one today. And, you know, I was on my, I know I'm so excited. We see, I'm forgetting it again. I was on my emails, and this random thing, I don't even know if I subscribed to this email address, but it was like this free webinar or free program to do with coaching again. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, no, I'm not doing another one yet. Take a break. Celebrate what you did. Don't jump into the other one. But I actually opened the email. Sometimes I don't like to open emails. And I opened it and I was like, ooh, another course. I was like, no, take a break. Relax. Celebrate.
It becomes a new addiction, doesn't it? Another
Oh,
course.
stop. And I was like, that's the thing about going to the next thing. I was like, hold on for a minute. You're doing courses flat out since February. Relax for a second. Take a week off. At least take a week off.
Yeah, you definitely deserve it. Definitely. Yeah. So, and always mindfulness techniques, grounding techniques, and general journaling about how you're feeling, because it's different when it's on paper. I think when it's in our head, we can't be so subjective about it, but when it's on a piece of paper we can look and look at it differently. So getting your thoughts down on paper can be helpful. Mindful techniques if we're stressed, because if we're stressed we don't handle challenges as well as we could do, and we're more likely to go, why is this happening to me if we're stressed, than say, this is happening for me. What am I going to learn from this? So finding ways to reduce your stress, and always I would suggest meditation and affirmations in meditation, because you can get your subconscious on board. So if you're trying to reframe things but you're not believing it, then try turning it into an affirmation in meditation, and do that for a few weeks and see if it changes. Yeah. Oh, so it's 7:05. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, that's pretty much it. Well, one final quote. I love this quote. Change
Yeah.
the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. It's that simple. Change the way you look at your life. Change your mindset. Change your life. And everything will change around you. It all starts within you.
Yeah, 100%. You're not being punished. You're being prepared.
Yeah,
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, if people, I just wish people knew about our filter. I think people who aren't aware of how we filter through our information, it causes so much problems, because we can get our filter can give us the information that's not accurate, and it can create our reality. Our reality is based on our filter. You know, our brain interprets just electrical signals from lots of different senses. We don't even touch things. It's atoms repelling, you know, that things are not solid. Most of atoms is space. So our reality is created in our brain from feedback that we're getting, but we are filtering it and changing it in a way to fit what we believe. And so if you are aware of that, you can be intentional about it. And you can also interact with other people better, because so many misunderstandings, I feel, is that we know what our intentions are because we're at this side of our filter, but we don't see other people's intentions. We just see their behavior, and then we interpret their behavior based on what we think they think about us. And that might not be their intention at all. Yeah. So that awareness can it certainly change things for me. That and meditation. And to finish, join Teacher Mindset Matters. It's our free Facebook group full of coaches from different areas of self-development and personal growth. We're there to help teachers and school support staff who want to get on a growth journey. It's free. We want to help you. You can post anonymously, or you can just watch from afar and soak up all the information. There's lots on there that can help you. So join Teacher Mindset Matters on Facebook. We're the only one. And I'll see you next week.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.